He ended up fighting with the officer for a little while, punching the officer in the face, running inside the house and barricading himself inside before backup had to arrive, go in the house, and tase his ass. The Chesterfield County Police Department stated that they do have body camera footage of the entire incident, which hasn't been released yet, but we have a nice big statement from that department. It turns out that the traffic stop was initiated because the driver had a busted taillight, and also because there were reports of the two in the car yelling and gesturing things at school buses. The police department also stated the driver did not have his ID, and the officer began to take his information. The driver said he didn't see a problem and attempted to exit the vehicle, and the officer told him to stay in the vehicle. The driver continued to not cooperate with the officer, so the officer told the driver he was being detained and asked him to step out of the vehicle. The driver then refused to exit the vehicle. The officer repeatedly directed the driver to exit the vehicle and attempted to remove the driver from the vehicle. The driver resisted, and that's when the viral video cuts on. And that's where we get into the 19-year-old suspect tried to flee. The officer caught up with him. There was an altercation. The officer ended up getting a small injury, and then he ran in the house where officers had to go in and tase him. In the end, he ended up being charged with assault on a law enforcement officer and 3 counts of obstruction of justice with force. One of my favorite parts about incidents like these are the comments below where I can go and laugh at people. One little conversation in particular I want to talk about is an exchange between a friend of mine on Twitter and some lady who is supporting this guy saying the police can't do that. This is an exchange between one of my Twitter friends at Shit I Hear on Duty and at Danielle21. He was simply trying to explain to her that she's wrong. He says, "You're wrong. Supreme Court says if you do not get out when asked, it's obstruction of justice. Stop teaching ignorance." She says, "I'll remind your mother not to teach ignorance to your children like she did to you." Earlier in the conversation, he had mentioned something about Pennsylvania versus Mims, so she made the comment below, "You didn't mention Supreme Court, you mentioned Penn versus Mims. Get your facts right before coming with 2 different statements." This is a perfect point to make that most of the people who argue against police officers in the comments of a lot of these have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. As you can see here, she's like, "Hey, you mentioned the Supreme Court, not Pennsylvania versus Mims." I told you guys that the people who spread shit like this on the internet aren't the smartest of people. I would say don't even argue with them, but then we wouldn't have little pieces of gold like this. Before we end the video, I wanted to show you guys a tweet of something kind of neat from Trooper Guy Gill, who is the Public Information Officer for the Washington State Patrol District 1. In his tweet, he says a driver saw a small black object in the air while driving on I-5 and it struck the front of his car. He drove about 18 miles, stopped for gas, and found this. One of my favorite comments on this picture comes from Twitter user @DarkSecretPlace. It's the annual migration of the Springfield XDs. Slow down, people. Everyone, that's all I have for you today. If you want to support the channel, you can go to patreon.com/donutoperator or buy some super sweet merch from donutoperator.com. I want all of you to have a fantastic day and a very safe weekend. I'm going to end this with a very, very important announcement from Eli Double Tap and Matt Best.
Donut's mustache makes me moist.
Double down. Hunters like you blaze a path for the rest of us.
In a world where road pirates roam free,
Yeah, look at him. Like a little Nazi just stopping every car.
where innocent people are terrorized daily,
You're incompetent, stupid fuck.
where regular citizens can pull over police officers,
Should I go pull him over? Or what?
where police officers are actually sovereign citizens,
He thinks I have to answer him because he's the sovereign citizen who has a badge.
where asking a question is defamation,
Are you some sort of sovereign citizen or something?
No, I'm not, and that's defamation.
where giving someone your phone number is self-incriminating,
No. I'm not required.
where officer safety is just a myth,
The guy's already claiming that officer safety propaganda bullshit.
using his superior wit and intellect,
Okay.
his tactful negotiating skills,
You're a lying, stupid, sovereign citizen piece of shit. Go fuck your mother. How about that?
one man is fighting back against the system.
Because law enforcement take human suffering and turn it into cash. You guys don't do anything productive.
Coming to a cop block Facebook group near you, insufferable moron, the Johnny.
Something happens to one of them, it's a tragedy. When they kill us, it's all good.
So me and Mike, we're just going to take a look at this video because I don't agree with some of the stuff he's saying. And